Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday encounter in order of an aspect. As you're fully aware that this channel I'm hoping to address to you all is based on my everyday encounters of my journey with AS and other pre-diagnoses of my disorders and conditions, as well as basically jazzing it up a bit here and there with the health and awareness of different conditions and whatnot, of the topics that I feel to include in this journey. Basically, even though, as I said in one of my videos at the moment that I'm doing based on the addiction series, this series I thought should bring attention to you all, basically to create an understanding, awareness and knowledge, basically through what I've learned through my training in youth line, basically of what they've given me of information to help spread an awareness and knowledge to share with you all out there, that you may have someone that you know of that's suffering from some form of addiction, be it a substance form of addiction or just like a physical attribute of it, be it porn, gambling, and whatnot. But I'm going to break it down into parts and series, hopefully, and the pieces that I have addressed to you all so far, which is just touched real brief of the addiction series. What is it, you know, what to do, the know-how, the lowdown of the different phases and stages of the addictions, of the cycles, as I mentioned, as well as some terminology that has come and addressed to you all, hopefully. And now, without further ado, though, I want to address to you all a few more of these addiction series that I'm hoping to do a bit more in depth, so to speak. And now this one, basically, I'm hoping to address to you all as video gaming addiction for the time being. And this one is, here goes. Anyway, this will cover, as you know, before I begin, is the causes or triggers of that form of addiction of the video gaming, basically the symptoms pretty much, and the effects, physical and social. And also on the later on in the piece also is basically, or shall we say in the beginning maybe, is what makes the gaming, you know, the games that we play so addictive for us, sort of thing. I know here and now that many people will be saying that you may know all about this, but it's alright to just know it again, time and time again, if you want to revert back to my channel or any other channel, basically, on what you go through in life, you know, be it whatever, or even just, you know, to try to know the signs and symptoms to shine out, you know, with your family members, whatever it may be. So thing. Anyway, here goes. The symptoms of video gaming addiction are as follows. Of the physical consequences are your back pains and aches, you're eating irregularly, so you're not watching what you're eating, you just skip meals or you just don't eat at all, and then it leads to further health complaints, be it anorexia, bulimic and stuff. If you don't, be careful. Fatigue, migraines, blurred vision, carpal tunnel syndrome, lack of sleep and sleep disturbances. Okay, carpal tunnel syndrome, however, has been long associated with computer use, similarly as your OOS, your occupational overuse syndrome, pretty much. This can be caused by basically nerve in between the forearm and is squeezed or pressured by those pressure points in that area, when the carpal tunnel, where it's cushioned, is housed with the main system of nerves and tendons, becomes irritated and swollen. Another one is migraines. This starts on one side of the head, obviously, you know, just maybe dull at one stage, and then sometimes, you know, later on it'll be a real bad head banging, like as if something's banging on the head with you, and then it slowly spreads to the other side of your head, and then it will become more constant, sharp and real painful. It can be really intense for some people, that cause other like symptoms, be it, you know, fatigue, vomiting, you know, if it's real extreme cases, dizziness, and they tend to black out. Sometimes, like I said, they'll have that tolerance. Sometimes straining their eyes will cause that blurred vision and dizziness. Another one is, as I said, is sleeping disturbances. This covers a lot of, you know, sleep irrational disorders that comes out, you know, which are insomnia, sleep apnea, nocturnal myoclonus, basically, which is the jerking of the arms or legs while you're sleeping or during your sleeping, parasomnia, which is your night terrors, your sleepwalking, and whatnot. And then sometimes with all that effect coming on to us, it's the overstimulation of the brain. And then sometimes with that overstimulation while we're sleeping, however, we could be still continuously thinking about the game that we were playing or whatnot, and you think, oh, I need to get up and play it again or something because of that urge. Social effects basically for this is people that are video, gaming addiction can't make a decent conversation with others, so they might not be able to basically have an icebreaker. How they're going to go about it is, they'll stumble, they might pause for a very long time, then the lack of concentration just to focus on the conversation, they'll just zone out, and then basically, tend to just seem not interested. Isolation or feeling left out. Lacking in socialization skills, or just lacking in socialization when it just comes to certain activities that they may need to, balance out just to drop out something in general. Again, as I said before, due to the making the not a decent conversation with others, basically lack of interest in interacting with others, basically by conversing with them when the others around them are sharing their interest or sharing how their day is being. Sometimes your personal relationships will become affected, like be it if you're in a relationship with a partner, or that can put a lot of strain, or it could also put a lot of strain when you're working and you don't want to work, so you get lack of motivation going on, thinking, all the time, I need to game, in the back of your mind, instead of basically, supposed to do what you're supposed to do. And sometimes the routine of yours, if you had a routine or schedule, just collapses around you. Sometimes you have a tendency to lose track of time while you're gaming, which is 100% true. Sometimes, however, with this gaming addiction, sometimes it takes their mind off basically their everyday problems. It's like an escape from the reality of what's going on around them, and sometimes they may not, while they're escaping from that problem and just want to, game sort of thing, it doesn't solve or deal with them of their socialization. Sometimes the lack of sleep sort of thing, or relationships will become so strained to the point where arguments and domestics will come into it, and that's no good, so to speak, because obviously, we need to work something out one way or another. Okay, last but not least, what does games, or what makes games addictive, or how does games become addictive for people that start to game, and then, all these side effects that I've just mentioned comes into play. One is the high score. Ultimately, with gamers, they really push themselves and are really determined in themselves that they really want to, game hardcore to beat their first high time score, or even beat others, get so competitive to the point that they think, oh, I need to try and at least maybe beat that other person's score if they were online gaming, or just sometimes when they're playing on themselves on the console or on the computer and they're looking around and they see their score thinking, oh great, I'm done, not great. Sometimes it leads them to put themselves down, and they need to really beat themselves up and, put some negativity in them to do it. Sometimes, in general, number two is beating the game. Sometimes some games are never ending, and basically some are never ending, to a point that even though there's storylines in some games that I've noticed, with your RPG games or your first person shooting games, there is some sort of part that you so have a role play into perspective. You may have a certain role in that game, be it, with your first person shooter, like, for example, if you were playing Battlefield, he'd say, you're either a medic or assisting in the mechanics part of it, or you're the enemy on the front line, attacking. Again, as I said, number three, role playing, interchanges sort of thing of it, you're escaping from reality, obviously, in that world of fiction, and that basically sometimes with this role playing, as I said in the other one for the AS and video gaming addiction, basically with this, it can obviously swoop to this point that we tend to character swap, you know, as I said, shape shift from one end to the next, be it wherever the scenario is set in that game versus, you know, reality, again escaping from it, and also to the point where you tend to question. Another one is, it can sometimes, in number 4, build relationships up around you. Basically, like, here's say if you're online gaming, obviously it's a pure example. When you're online gaming, you know, it gives you the boundary line of making friends overseas online and interact in that way, even though sometimes you can't, when you can't escape from that reality, or you don't want to face reality, and just making friendships, that's where it lies, basically. And last but not least is discovery. Every game I've noticed has a strategy game or a problem solving technique, you know. Sometimes it can open new worlds. Like a classic example of this is League of Legends, like myths and tales, twists and turns of what you have to do in your next, you know, journey for that step to progress on, pretty much. And that sometimes it can be exciting that you have problem solved to the point where, you know, you're on the next level to do what you have to do. Anyway, this is basically the gaming addiction part of the series of the addiction series, or video gaming addiction series. Please give me a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to my channel for more updates, what's going to happen, hopefully. Also, reminder, also when I've been putting up contacts listings, especially on my AspieAnswersAll Facebook page, remember to encourage one another, not to tear anyone down, because obviously that place was supposed to be a safe haven for people to view my videos or just want to private message